Doug Gottlieb just joined us via Zoom. Doug, can you hear me?
I can. It's in my car, listening as I do every morning, taking my dog for a walk, and yeah, that's Odell Beckham Jr. in the background. And I wanted to help you out here. I completely disagree with you on Kareem, and I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay.
But the pettiness of Paul Pierce, and I've known Paul Pierce. We graduated same year of high school. He was my roommate at ABCD. Look, Paul's a prideful guy, and I think the fact that he was a great player in this, and people don't talk about him, I'm sure that doesn't sit well with him. But look, again, he's doing nothing different than what Isaiah's done for years. Isaiah and Jordan don't get along. He's downplayed Jordan for years, and he's doing the same. But the biggest mistake that he's making is what a lot of people my age do, talking about guys they never saw play. Look, Bill Russell's a great player. Will Chamberlain's like my only knowledge of Will Chamberlain is from my dad, who thought Will Chamberlain was a dog. Then every big game he didn't show up in, every single one. So I would just say we should start from the Bird and Magic era and then move forward.
I'm fine with that. But you know what? Paul's an analyst and should be objective here and just say, look, I had a rivalry with LeBron. I didn't get along with him. And then if you want to say, here's my top 5 or my top 7, I'm fine with that. He's an analyst on ESPN.
Look, there's also a possibility he actually believes this. He believes this. The problem is how he supports his argument.
That's true.
That's your point.
That's true.
Which is a really good. Look, my thing about Kareem, and Kareem's the guy who he checks all the boxes. But here's the thing. Give me the moment. Give me just even one moment when he and Magic were on the Lakers where it was Kareem's team. It wasn't. I mean, obviously the most famous moment in Magic's rookie year was what he did on the road against Philadelphia.
Yep.
And when they beat the Boston Celtics, it was Magic making the baby sky hook. And I know that Kareem was past his prime, but when Kareem got to the Lakers, they didn't immediately win. It took them until they got Magic Johnson to win. Magic and Bird took over the league. I think you start there, then you go to Jordan. You got to include Duncan and maybe, and Kobe in some of these modern day discussions. And then I think you have LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal and some others as well. But look, I get the need. You're a Celtic. You got to mention Bill Russell. But dude, we never saw Bill Russell play, so it's really hard to give context.
Well, Kareem was MVP in '85 in the finals.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying he's not. No, I'm not sitting here telling you that you're an idiot for saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player of all time. You can make an argument. My counter argument to that, Dan, would be he just,
But Doug, I was including college basketball in this. He's the greatest player he's had. If I look at high school, college, and the NBA, he's the greatest player of all time. Greatest career. MVPs, won titles, led the league in scoring, blocks, rebound. He did everything you wanted. I know you. If we said, "Oh, you're going to start your team with Kareem or Michael," I know that you're going to say Michael there, and I might too. But Kareem did everything, and that's why it was laughable. The ESPN best college basketball player. It's not close. It is Kareem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. Listen. Yeah, I mean, look, Bill Russell, didn't they win 60 in a row with Casey Jones at the University of San Francisco? Granted, maybe not the overall dominance of Kareem at UCLA. Yeah. I would say, if you're going to do college and pro, then you put Bill Russell in there as well. He also did it as a coach, player coach, which is unique.
I don't think Russell was a great player, though. I think he was the ultimate team player. He was so limited offensively, Doug. He was He was great at what he needed to be great at, and they had They had 8 Hall of Famers on that team at one point, and you had maybe the greatest coach of all time.
Okay, but many of the times in which they beat Will Chamberlain, and and Will Chamberlain's stats dipped against the Boston Celtics unlike any other time. And when Will Chamberlain played, whether it was with the Philadelphia Warriors or when he played with the Lakers, he had Jerry West and Elgin Baylor in his team, and only once when Wilt was far past his. We could go round and round. My thing is I mean, even Bill Russell's numbers were still crazy. But the game was totally different. There was very limited defense. There was no 3-point shot. It's so and look, I'll take your word for it because you're the only one of the two of us to remember the history of basketball because you're that old, Dan. I'm kidding.
Thank you.
But I think the biggest mistake dudes make is like Paul. Like, look, I love Paul. We grew up in the same area, so he should have an affinity for Magic Johnson. Probably has. I don't know how he feels about Kobe because that was a contemporary. It's really hard to find guys who analyze basketball, who know the history of basketball. Because when you're a kid, you don't have time. If you're a player, you don't really have time to go and analyze. I'm the exception because I'm a coach's son. Most of the great players, they weren't breaking down. They weren't doing what Kobe was doing, breaking down Jordan's moves. They were just out there hooping, trying to get better, playing 4 or 5 games a day. And so the best perspective Paul can give you is, hey, I played against all these guys. Let me tell you, Kobe was better than LeBron, and here's why. That's where he can provide insight that no one else can. Now, it's really hard to disconnect your own personal feelings. I will tell you that there's a good group of former NBA players, some current NBA players are like, look, LeBron played in a terrible East. When he played in Miami, they not only joined the super team, but remember they kicked out the legs from the Raptors and from the Cavs, and so that took away any sort of competition in the East. Yes, when he was 22, what he did, how they beat Detroit, but we had a lot of weird teams come out of the East. Remember, Allen Iverson came out of the East. It was a one-man band. The East was just that far down.
Okay, we'll just settle on this here. Do you think LeBron's a top 5 player of all time?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Doug, it's great to talk to you.
Likewise.
All right, thank you. It's Doug Gottlieb there.